Chapter 3, Fangs of Treachery. I sat by the riverbank, my legs folded under me, staring at the water as it rippled and shimmered in the late afternoon sun. The argument with Kouji hung heavy in my mind, but it wasn't just that. I kept replaying the morning conversation with Master Riku. His words had hit something deep inside me, something I hadn't wanted to confront for a long time. "You have choices, Kaito," he'd said, his voice calm but firm. "Every path you walk leads somewhere, but you need to ask yourself, where do you want it to lead?" At the time, I just nodded along, too tired from scrubbing floors to really process it. But now, sitting here alone, his words echoed louder. I didn't want to end up like Kouji, angry, lost, clinging to cigarettes and whatever else made the days bearable. I wanted more. I wasn't sure what that looked like yet, but I knew it had to start with making better choices. I stood up, brushing dirt off my pants. The sun was dipping lower, casting long shadows over the trees. It was time to head home. The path back to the village was quiet, except for the rustling leaves and the occasional bird call. I walked slowly, lost in thought, until a sudden rustle from the bushes made me stop. Before I could react, Kouji stepped out onto the path, a twisted grin on his face. "Hey Kaito, where you going? We weren't done talking." I frowned. "What do you want now, Kouji?" "I already told you I'm done with that shit." Kouji's grin widened. "Yeah, I heard you, but see, I'm not convinced. I think you just need a little push." From behind the trees, two bigger guys emerged. I recognized them from the other class. Kenji and Toru, the kind of guys you didn't want to mess with. They both had that same smug look on their faces, like they were about to enjoy whatever was coming next. "What the fuck is this?" I took a step back, my heart pounding. Kouji shrugged, pulling out a small glass vial from his pocket. The liquid inside shimmered with a strange, oily color. "Just something to help you relax. It's called Blue Mist. You'll love it." I shook my head, backing up further. "No way. Get the hell away from me." But before I could turn to run, Kenji grabbed my arm. His grip was like a vice. I struggled, trying to pull free, but Toru was on me in an instant, grabbing my other arm and holding me tight. "Let me go, you assholes!" I shouted, twisting and kicking, but they were too strong. Kouji stepped closer, holding the vial up to my face. His grin never wavered. "Come on, Kaito, don't make this harder than it has to be. Just breathe it in and all your problems will disappear." "Fuck you." I spat, thrashing against Kenji and Toru. "You're not my friend. You never were." Kouji's expression darkened for a moment, a flicker of something almost like hurt crossing his face. But it was gone in an instant, replaced by that same smug grin. "Friend? Nah. Friends are overrated. This is business, Kaito, and you're to be my best customer." He uncorked the vial, and the sharp, chemical smell hit me immediately. My head spun, and I clamped my mouth shut, turning my face away as Kouji tried to shove the vial closer. "Hold him still." Kenji and Toru tightened their grips, and despite all my struggling, I couldn't break free. Kouji grabbed my jaw, forcing my head back. "Breathe it in, Kaito. Breathe. Don't fight it. It's easier that way." I twisted as hard as I could, managing to knock the vial from his hand. It hit the ground and rolled away, spilling a bit of the blue liquid into the dirt. "You little shit. You're wasting it." He lunged at me, landing a punch to my stomach. The air rushed out of me, and I doubled over, gasping. "Let me go. Help," I shouted, hoping anyone would hear me. But we were too far from the village. Kenji's fist connected with my cheek, sending me sprawling to the ground. Pain exploded in my head, but I forced myself to get up, wiping blood from my mouth. "You're tougher than you look," Kouji said, stepping toward me again. "But it doesn't matter. You can't win." "Fuck off, Kouji. You're nothing but a coward, hiding behind your goons, selling poison to people who trust you." Kouji's face twisted in anger. "You think you're better than me now? You think your samurai wisdom bullshit is gonna save you?" He gestured to Kenji and Toru. "Get him. Make sure he doesn't run." They lunged at me again, and I swung wildly, landing a punch on Kenji's jaw. He stumbled back, surprised, but Toru tackled me to the ground. My head hit the dirt hard. Kouji crouched down next to me, the vial back in his hand. "See, Kaito, you don't get it. There's no escaping this. You're either with me or you're against me. And trust me, being against me is a bad fucking idea." He held the vial up again, and this time, there was no escaping it. The sharp scent filled my nose, burning my lungs. My vision blurred, and my limbs felt heavy, like I was sinking into the earth. "There you go," Kouji said softly. "See? Isn't that better?" I tried to fight it, but the drug took hold fast. My thoughts swirled, and everything around me felt distant and unreal. The trees blurred into a kaleidoscope of colors, and the sound of the river faded into a dull roar. Through the haze, I heard Kouji's voice. "Welcome to the real world, Kaito. No more pretending. No more running." I wanted to scream, to curse him out, to fight back, but all I could do was sink deeper into the haze. The last thing I saw before everything went blur was Kouji's satisfied grin. The world around me spun as I gasped for breath, my chest heaving like it had a mind of its own. My knees buckled, and I collapsed onto the dirt near the riverbank, coughing and sputtering. The taste of that blue mist was still in my mouth, bitter, chemical, and lingering like a curse. My vision swirled, the edges blurring and bleeding into strange, vibrant colors. "Breathe it in, mop boy," Kouji sneered, towering over me with a wicked grin. "Don't fight it." Kenji and Toru, the two bigger guys, laughed as they loomed closer. Kenji nudged me with his foot, making me roll onto my side. "See? Told you he wouldn't be able to handle it. Little dojo brat thinks he's better than us." I tried to push myself up, but my arms wouldn't cooperate. My head lolled to the side, catching glimpses of their twisted, mocking faces. Everything felt surreal. The moonlight on the river looked like molten silver, and the shadows stretched and danced like they were alive. Kouji crouched down next to me, his cigarette dangling from his lips. He exhaled a puff of smoke into my face, making me cough again. "You're ours now, Kaito. Welcome to the real world." Before I knew it, they were dragging me toward a beat-up car parked nearby. My feet scraped against the gravel as they hauled me along like a sack of rice. The car door creaked open, and they shoved me into the back seat. My head hit the worn leather, and the world outside became a kaleidoscope of spinning lights and muffled sounds. "Let's take him to the club," Kouji said, sliding into the driver's seat. "He needs to see what he's been missing out on." As the car sped down the winding village roads, I struggled to make sense of the colors and shapes flashing past the window. Streetlights morphed into shooting stars, and trees swayed like giants waving their arms. My mind twisted everything into strange, dreamlike images. "Look at him," Kenji snickered from the passenger seat. "He's trippin' hard." Toru leaned over the backrest, smirking down at me. "Yo, Kaito, how's the ride? You seeing rainbows yet?" I mumbled something incoherent, my tongue too heavy to form words. They all laughed, the sound echoing in my ears like it came from a far-off place. "Bet he's seeing angels," Kouji joked, tapping the steering wheel. "Or maybe Oni demons. Either way, he's not coming back from this. Not the same." By the time I started to regain some clarity, I couldn't remember anything from the past hour. "Put a shirt on, mop boy. We're here." Toru's voice cut through the fog. I glanced down. Shirtless, with random characters tattooed across my chest and arms. I hadn't even felt it. The car finally screeched to a halt in front of the club, a rundown building with flickering neon lights and thumping bass that shook the ground beneath my feet. Kenji and Toru dragged me out of the car, half carrying, half dragging me toward the entrance. Inside, the club was a haze of smoke, flashing lights and pounding music. The air smelled of sweat, booze, and something sickly sweet. Probably more of that damn blue mist. My mind couldn't focus. Faces blurred, voices distorted, and the entire room seemed to pulse with the beat of the music. "This feels good." Kouji led the way, laughing as he threw an arm around my shoulders. "Welcome to your new life, Kaito. Time to party." They dumped me in a booth, and I slumped over the table, trying to keep my head from spinning off my neck. The lights overhead twisted into spirals, and the people on the dance floor looked like shadows with glowing eyes. Kouji and his crew didn't waste any time. They ordered drinks, lit up cigarettes, and even passed around a joint. The girls they brought with them laughed and danced, draping themselves over the guys like they were royalty. "Hey, Kaito," Kouji called over the music. "You having fun yet?" I tried to answer, but my words came out garbled. My mouth felt dry, my tongue thick and useless. Kenji snickered. "I think he's seeing shit. Look at him, he's talking to himself." I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to the mop leaning against the corner of the room. It seemed to sway with the music, its wooden handle nodding in time with the beat. "You ever feel stuck?" I asked the mop, my voice barely a whisper. Like, you want to get out, but you can't? The mop didn't answer, but in my hallucination it nodded solemnly. Hours blurred together. Kouji and his crew drank, smoked, and celebrated like they'd won the lottery. They laughed at my expense, taunting me with promises of more blue mist. "You're one of us now, Kaito," Kouji said, clinking his glass with Kenji's. "No more dojo bullshit. No more pretending to be a hero." The night dragged on, and I lost track of time. The girls left with Kenji and Toru, giggling as they disappeared into the early morning streets. Kouji stayed behind, finishing his drink before standing over me. He slapped my cheek gently, making my head loll to the side. "We'll be seeing you again later, little schmuck. Don't forget, you owe us now." With that, he walked out, leaving me alone in the emptying club. The music had died down, and only a handful of people remained, mostly passed out or cleaning up. The club owner approached, wiping down the bar with a rag. He gave me a tired, pitying look. "Club's closing in an hour, boy. Time to go." I tried to sit up, my body still heavy and uncooperative. Yeah, I'm going." The mop caught my eye again, and I pointed at it. You get it, don't you? You know what it's like to be stuck." The club owner sighed, shaking his head. "Kid, you're a mess." "Tell me something I don't know," I muttered, leaning my head against the table. The sun was starting to rise, casting a soft glow through the club's windows. The haze in my mind was lifting, but not fast enough. I knew I couldn't stay there forever, but I couldn't bring myself to move. Back in the village, my dad was pacing the living room. He ran a hand through his hair, his jaw clenched tight. "Where is he, Akane? He should have been home last night." My mom sat on the couch, wringing her hands. "Maybe you scolded him too much, Hiroshi. He's probably scared to come back." Dad sighed, rubbing his temples. He needed that wake-up call. Where would his life lead to if we don't confront him early on? We don't want him ending up on the streets. They tried calling my phone again, but it went straight to voicemail. My dad grabbed his coat. "I'm going out to find him." "Be careful," my mom said, worry etched into her face. "Bring him back." Dad nodded and stepped out into the village. He asked around, checking the dojo first. The masters there hadn't seen me since yesterday morning. "Always rushing to get to school," one of the masters said. He seemed troubled. The message reached Master Riku, who immediately took charge. "Spread the word," he told the others. "We need to find Kaito." The village began to stir with the news. People started looking, asking each other if they'd seen me. Meanwhile, I was still at the club, half awake and half hallucinating. The blue mist hadn't fully worn off, and I found myself talking to a chair that I swore was judging me. "Don't look at me like that," I muttered. "I didn't ask for this." The chair didn't respond, but I imagined it shaking its head in disappointment. The club owner sighed again. "Kid, you need to go home." "Home," I whispered, the word echoing in my mind, but I wasn't sure I knew where that was anymore. Shortly after, my dad and Master Riku went to my school to look for me. They were like a strange pair, walking through the school gates at dawn. "We'll find him," Master Riku said to my dad, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Let's start here. Someone must have seen him." The gates creaked open as they walked inside. By then, the early morning bustle of students was starting. Kids with bags slung over their shoulders, yawning and rubbing sleep from their eyes, passed by, oblivious to the urgency in my dad's steps as he approached the front desk. "Excuse me," he said to the administrator, bowing respectful despite the worry gnawing at him. "I'm looking for my son, Kaito Arashi. He didn't come home last night. Have you seen him?" The administrator frowned, flipping through a logbook. "Kaito, I saw him yesterday morning, but I don't recall seeing him after that. Let me ask his homeroom teacher." They were directed to Mr. Makoto's classroom, the room going quiet as my dad and Master Riku walked in. Curious glances from students, whispers spreading across the desks. "Mr. Arashi." "Master Riku," Mr. Makoto said. "What brings you here?" "I'm looking for my son," my dad replied. "Did he attend all his classes yesterday?" Mr. Makoto nodded. "Yes, he was here. But he seemed distracted. Left as soon as the final bell rang." The murmuring in the room grew louder. Then there was Ichiro, the class bully. "Maybe he's off mopping floors somewhere," leaning back in his chair. "Isn't that what he always does?" My dad's jaw tightened. He hated the thought of me being mocked. But Master Riku, calm as always, stepped forward and silenced the room with his presence. "This is serious," he said, his voice cold and stern. "If anyone knows where Kaito might be, speak up now." Silence. Shuffling feet. Kids avoiding eye contact. Ichiro rolled his eyes and sighed dramatically. "He sometimes hangs out by the river after school," Ichiro said. "That's his spot." My dad exchanged a glance with Master Riku and bowed to Mr. Makoto. "Thank you. We'll check there." They left the school quickly, with Master Riku sending 2 of his men to scout the nearby streets while he and my dad headed for the riverbank. My dad's heart pounding in his chest, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. When they reached the riverbank, my dad called out, his voice echoing over the water. "Kaito! Kaito, are you here?" No response, just the sound of the river lapping against the shore. "Kaito!" he shouted again, his voice cracking. Master Riku placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll find him," he said firmly. "He's out there somewhere. Don't lose hope." Back in school, the news of my disappearance spread like wildfire. Kouji sat in the back, slouched in his chair, pretending to look disinterested. But his heart was pounding. "Shit," he muttered under his breath. "Didn't think it would get this serious." Kenji, Toru, and Shota, his usual crew, exchanged glances but kept their mouths shut. They knew better than to draw attention to themselves. While they talked about me, I was stumbling out of the club. My head was pounding from the remnants of the blue mist and the alcohol that had been forced on me. My legs felt like lead, every step a struggle. The morning air hit my face, cool and sharp, but it did little to clear my mind. The vision still foggy. "Where am I?" I mumbled. Everything hurt, my body sore from the beating I'd taken. Eventually I found a dark alleyway, hidden from the main street. The walls were damp, the ground cold and unforgiving, but it was a spot where I could collapse unseen. So, I slumped against the wall, sliding down to the wet concrete floor. My thoughts were fragmented, jumping from one disjointed image to another. The river, Kouji's face, the blue mist swirling around me. I tried to piece it together, but the puzzle wouldn't fit. "Just need to rest," I whispered. "Just for a minute." My eyes fluttered shut, and I drifted into a restless sleep, haunted by distorted dreams of laughter and flashing lights. Back at the river, my dad stood with his hands on his hips, frustration etched into every line of his face. "Where is he?" he muttered, pacing back and forth. "I should have been stricter. Maybe I pushed him too hard." Master Riku shook his head. "You did what any father would do. Kaito's a strong boy. He'll find his way back." My dad sighed deeply, looking out over the river. "I just want him home." After a few more moments of searching, Master Riku checked his watch. "I need to return to the dodo, but I'll send more men out to keep looking." My dad bowed deeply. "Thank you. I appreciate everything you've done." Master Riku returned the bow. "We'll find him. Stay strong." As Master Riku left, my dad stayed by the river, staring at the water, lost in thought, replaying memories of me as a child, my laughter, my curiosity, my determination. "I'll find you, Kaito," he whispered, "no matter what it takes." Meanwhile, I stirred in the alleyway. The morning light started to filter in, casting long shadows on the walls. I blinked slowly, my mind still clouded. But somewhere deep inside, a flicker of awareness began to surface. I wasn't home. I wasn't safe. And I wasn't alone in this nightmare. By the time my dad got home, it was late. He walked into the house, exhausted, his shoulders sagging with defeat. Mom was waiting in the living room, pacing, clutching her phone like it's a lifeline. And then comes the painful part, when Dad tells Mom I'm still missing, that he hasn't found me.